what's up? Welcome back, Queens and Queens. Welcome back. We're live again. We'll continue on that series where we're talking about the state witnesses. Today we'll be talking about Lieutenant Colonel Mhlahlo. Obviously, there's the lady is like who's purported to have found the magic bullet, right? This is the lady who found the bullet that nobody else could find. All the inspectors, all the first responders came there. That is Mthethwa and his pal, and then Thabo Musia, who we talked about yesterday. They couldn't find anything. She came, she was able to find something. And on top of that, she was able to present that bullet in an evidence bag which has an envelope, a brown envelope contained inside. And we know that an evidence bag is supposed to be colorless, clear. You have to see what's going on inside. But she had the balls. She had the heart to argue that the way she did it was the right way. Before we do all of that, please, guys, like the live, hit that notification bell so that when we drop more content like this, you're in the loop. Now, let's listen to a little bit of what was going on when Advocate Minisi was quizzing her. You can just listen to her and how she's answering. Then you feel the energy. You feel that she's not prepared to come forth with any honesty. Let's go.
And in fact, next to it, I see something that looks to me like it's a fragment from the door. It was just a silent discovery.
Why born nje la bullet wathula akhonto wayibhekisayo kubo ba hayi ecaleni kwale bullet kukhona le pisana ndibona ba iphuma elicangweni wabona nje awathetha into ngalonto le.
I-finding yethu kwakuyibullet.
Our finding was the bullet.
Ngoba yiyo okwakuthiwe ibethe umnyango.
Because it was the bullet that was alleged to have hit the door.
So kwakufanele ukuthi sijonge ukuba kunebullet nyane bethe umnyango na njengokuba kwakuchiwe.
So we had to look and find as to whether indeed there was a bullet as it was alleged.
And sayifumana ke ibullet phezu kwe kitchen top.
And indeed we found the bullet on top of the kitchen top.
Ma'am, what is difficult about my question? I'm simply asking you whether it was a silent finding. You saw the bullet there. You just kept quiet while your colleague was standing next to you, and then I don't know whether you use eye languages or you use sign languages. Or at some stage you said, no, this is a bullet. And in fact, next to it, there is a substance that looks to me like it's a fragment from the door. It's simple as that.
Anziphinda yonke ke lanto ininzi ithethe phayana ngaba nathethe okanye zange nithethe.
Sathetha ngebullet sayifumana.
We spoke about the bullet which we found.
And that was to the exclusion of that which you're calling a fragment from the door.
Naishiya le
in your conversation.
Nithi inxalenye yocango.
Kunjalo mhlekazi.
That's correct.
So that explains the reason why Mr. Musia, throughout his testimony, never said anything about that little thing that you're calling a fragment that was next to the bullet. Not so.
Ilonto ke ngoku okanye ingangunobangela lowo ukuba umsiya naye ngoku anikeza ngobungqina engakhange athethe nto ngayo.
Andinalwazi bobungqina bukamsiya.
I've got no knowledge of Msiya's testimony.
Yeah, no, his testimony, he never made mention of any fragment from the door that was found next to the bullet. And he says, when that bullet was found, he was there.
Akathethanga nto. Utshilo kodwa ba ukufunyanwa kwa imbumbulu le wayekhona kodwa akathethanga nto ngala pisi yocango.
Ndingangqina uba wayekhona xa sifumana ibullet.
I'll confirm that he was there when we found the bullet.
Thank you. And he never made mention of anything that was found next to the bullet.
Saphindise ngilambuzo omnye ke.
Ndiyakuva mhlekazi.
I hear you.
I'm going to put it to you, ma'am. that thing that you are referring to as a fragment from the door, and that bullet which you say you found on the kitchen top, those things were never there.
Ngithi kuwe ezinto ezimbini sizibona zazingekho phaya.
Somebody made it sure that for whatever reason that they could have heard that those things were put there.
Bake kunomuntu wazibekwa ezazinto phaya. Kunomuntu ke wazibeka ezazinto phaya.
Mhlawumbe inkundla ingasixelela ukuba ngibani lo muntu lo ngoba mina ndazifumana kule ndawo.
Maybe the court will then, referring to you, that you can inform us as to who that person is, because that's where I found the items.
Xa sizifumana izinto kwakundim nomsiya noZwane.
And when the items were found, it was myself, Musia, and Zwane.
And I can further tell you, ma'am, that which you are referring to as a fragment that came from the door, it was just a drawing that was made with a corky pen.
Nokuba lento le wena uthi ke inxalenye yocango.
In order to
Umzobo nje owenziwa ngecorky pen.
In order to trump up a case, a possible case against this poor accused persons that are before court today.
Ukuze nje beliyelenqe okanye igumgedle elakhelwa aba bahleli phambi kwalenkundla.
Mhlawumbi umhlekazi uyazi ukuthi ngibani owayenza lo yelenqa kodwa ke mina andilazi. Ngifumene isini inje ndayiphotographer as it is.
Maybe you know as to who formed part of that theory or conspiracy theory, but this is how I found it.
Yeah, you know what? let me just come in there just for a little bit. I want to just hone in on when she's talking about sorry. When she's talking about Musia was there and Zwane was there when I found it. Yet Minister has just told her, has just asked her, you never told anybody. What did you say to the guys that were there? I found a bullet and what? She was unable to voice it. She was unable to articulate properly how she actually put it to these guys, how she found the bullet. And what's amazing is these guys came here. Musia came. He never mentioned that fragment. And it's amazing that I don't think Munisi would say that this is a corky pen or a mark of a corky pen if it's not really like that. I don't think so. I think that's what he see. So you ask yourself, are these guys, these policemen, are they so bold enough with their stupidity that they will just drop? But they are. Like, what am I saying? They are, because when you look at the way she presented the brown envelope inside the evidence bag, when there are photos, millions of photos on the internet depicting actually the evidence bag of South African Police Services with evidence inside, and we all see that it's a clear evidence bag that is supposed to show the evidence while it's still closed. You don't have to open it to see what's inside. But she argued it. She stood there and argued it. She argued that no, that's the way we're supposed to do it. We're supposed to put envelopes inside that evidence bag. Hence, she's now able to tell us no. That fragment is a fragment that I found, and Musia was there, Zwane was there. But these guys, especially Musia, who was on the stand, never testified about it. Anyway, guys, let Munisi go on with this lady, and then we'll take it from there.
Oh, I found the scene.
Ma'am, that which you are referring to as something, as a fragment from the door, what value in the chain of evidence that you were collecting at the scene was to you?
Inaxabiso lini kubungqina obu okanye kwi-chain eli lobungqina laa pisanyana leya uthi wena yeyocango?
ayizange yakholekthwa ayinabungqina. Into esasiconcentrate kuyo yibullet le yafunyanwa
It was never
emva
collected.
kwama-glass jars.
It was never collected as part of the evidence. The only thing that was collected that we are concentrating on is the bullet head behind the jars,
ngoba kwakunoduyulano endlini
because there was a shooting in the house
and
We have just
kunomuntu owasweleka kule crime scene.
and someone lost his life in the crime scene.
Okay, ma'am, okay. If I request you to explain, I'll say, can you please explain? Do you understand? You don't need to go on and on and on and on. I'm now the captain of this ship. I'm sorry. The captain is the court. I'm assisting the court to captain this ship.
Ndizachazela ke xa kufuneke utyatyadule.
Do you understand? Now, in your testimony, you are saying that object, that which you are referring to as a fragment from the door, it's something that came from the door and flew with the bullet to the place where it is, not so?
Ngaba uthi ke ngoku njengoba usithi ke inxalenye okanye ipisi yecango oliyana yawuthi yawubetha pha imbumbulu ecangweni. Ukuhamba kwembumbulu ke ngoku la pisanyana yahamba nala mbumbulu yaze yofikelela kulaa ndawo ibonakala ikuyo.
Ndithe ndibonisa imbumbulu enecezu lomnyango caleni kwayo.
I said I'm indicating a bullet with a piece of the door next to it.
Ukuba yabhabha mhlawumbi nayo andinalwazi lwayo kodwa mna ndazifumana zinje.
As to whether it flew with the bullet, I have no knowledge of that, but this is how I found them.
Let us contextualize it, ma'am. When the bullet landed there and that item landed there, what does it say to you?
Masidibanise ke ngoku le nto uba ngaba xa imbumbulu yawela phayana nayo laa pisi yawela phayana, loo nto ithetha ukuthini?
Ithetha uba zafunyanwa phezu kwe-kitchen top.
It says they were found on the kitchen top.
I know they were found there. You don't need to repeat that. I'm asking you if that bullet was found there and that which you're calling as a door fragment was also found there. What does it mean? Is it not an indication that from the door, that fragment flew there, or somebody, and if you're not saying that it flew there, then somebody must have put it there. That's what you're saying.
Xa usithi ayizange ke ngoku ibhabhe kunye nembumbulu, into ethetha ukuthi kunomntu owayibeka phaya.
Ingathi inkundla ifuna ndiqikelele and andizelanga uzoqikelela apha mna ndizothetha ukuthi yintoni endayifumana kwi-crime scene.
It looks like now the court wants me to speculate, and I'm not here to speculate. I'm here to say that which I found on the crime scene.
We are a crime scene investigator, ma'am.
Yeah, you know what? Let me just pause it there. This is amazing, right? This is somebody who's supposed to help us understand what she saw there on that day when she was there. And this somebody who's a lieutenant colonel, somebody who's supposed to be having years doing this, somebody who's supposed to know how to articulate herself in court when she's explaining her job. You see, Mangena on this job, right? He gave us a messed up job. I would like to say that, but when it comes to him articulating his job proper for you to understand what he did, what was going on, and then how does the bullet look, whatever, that guy is good at that. He can lay it down in a nice way so that you can hear, and you can even hear that he's using the language of ballistics. But this lady is like, she's just a secretary who was, taken for a ride along on that day. Then she ended up being asked, help us take photographs there so that we can document this. But she's not really well versed in that duty, how to do it. That's how you can hear how she's answering this. She's not, I mean, she's trying to put it to her that if that fragment fell there, and the bullet also, you claim that it was found there, so we can draw an inference that this fragment was pushed there or flew there because of the impact of the bullet, right? When Mangena is articulating these kind of things, you can actually visualize it when he's talking about it, right? The bullet, this guy was holding a gun at a couple of meters, what above the sternum, what. You can hear that the language relates. You can picture what he's saying. This lady is supposed to be an expert in these forensic things, but the language doesn't say that. It's like she's me, just a civilian trying to talk about court things, and these terms, I'm just learning them on the fly. She's using these things every day, but he's failing to just tell us what was happening on the other day. Like, can you say that a bullet flew there, like a fragment flew there because of the bullet, or what can you say? Can you say it was placed there by somebody? I mean, she's trying to convince us that the bullet was placed there is because of the force of the like the fragment was there is because of the force of the bullet. That's why it was there, but she doesn't want to say it. She's saying now she's being forced to guess. Anyway, let's just continue. I'm gonna play a few moments of this and then I'll go to the AI, deep dive with AI, so that we can just get all of a contradiction in one go in a little snippet. I don't want to take too much of your time. Let's go.
Using your common sense, if common sense is common, amongst others, you're using your experience, amongst others, you're using the training that you got when you went through all these vigorous trainings. You're there as an expert to assist the court.
Ulapha ke njengomuntu olwazi ke lomsebenzi wakhe nokuncedisana nenkundla.
Ndiyavuma kodwa not kuqikelelo.
I agree, but not in speculating.
Reason why, ma'am, you are saying you disregarded that piece of evidence and actually you did not package it because it wasn't there.
Unabangela uthi ke awuzange uyihoye okanye anizange nifake ke yona ke phakathi kungoba yayingekho phaya.
Sijonga into ne-evidential value xa sicollecta i-crime scene.
When we collect a crime scene, we look for that with evidential value.
So into yokuba umnyango ndanzawuqokelela le nto le piece yomnyango ndanzayiqokelela andiyazi ke uba inkundla yayithi ndizayisaphi.
If I was then to package and collect it, to collect this and package it, I don't know what are you suggesting. Where would I have taken it to?
Are you suggesting, ma'am, that from what you found there, that if your evidence is true, of course, from what you found there, next to the bullet, to you it did not constitute any evidence that was of value, taking into account that the door has been damaged?
Xa uthi ke okanye uthi okunakufumana phana okanye wakufumana eqaleni kwalampumbulu kwangena evidential value. Xa uthathela ingqalelo ukuba ngaba ucango oliyana ke lwaluqhekekile.
Le piece yayingenayo evidential value.
This piece had no evidential value.
Finally, ma'am,
You know what? This leaves a lot to be desired, because look at it this way. You took a photo of the fragment, but yet you, the same person, you are telling us it has no evidential value. But yet you saw that it was important that you took a photo of it to show it to somebody. It doesn't make sense when it comes to the witnesses of the state. It's like they're just winging it. Anyway, guys, let me just dip this cross-examination by Advocate Macy. I'm now going to the AI studio where I was talking to AI, and then we can get what it said about Lieutenant Colonel Thobeka Mhlahlo, sorry. Now, we know that this lady was there representing the state. She was there to talk about the state, right? Now, to try to convince us that whatever they did there with Musia, Zwane, and all those investigators who were there, the first responders, it is legit, right? But you can hear the tone, you can hear the demeanor, you can hear the sarcasm in her tone. There's no professionalism. It's like even her colleagues were forcing her to come to testify. She's not doing it out of the earnestness of her heart. Like she's not. She's just relaxed. She's telling us nothing. That fragment had nothing of evidential value, but yet there's a photo there that is being discussed now. Who took that photo? She took the photo. Why? You don't know? Because she shared it. That thing doesn't have evidential value. Let's go. Let me just read this and then we can wrap it up. Lieutenant Colonel Thobeka Mhlahlo, a veteran forensic investigator with over 20 years of experience, testified regarding the processing of the crime scene at the Force Arrest home of Kelly Khumalo on the morning of October 2014. Now, the day after Senzo Meyiwa was unalived, discovery of the bullet projectile. Her most critical contribution was the discovery of a bullet projectile on the kitchen counter. She testified that she found the bullet head hidden behind glass jars containing cereal on the cupboard. And this thing came with a force there, but was unable to break glasses. It just bounced between those glasses and the wall and just landed nicely there. Wow, man. Physics. Now, timing of the discovery. Mhlahlo arrived at the scene at around 9:10 a.m. on October 27, significantly later than the first responder. So just look at it this way. Mthethwa arrives around 10 at the scene, right? In fact, let's just take it from the top. The event happens around 8 o'clock. All the time. So now add all the time, the movement inside the house until Mthethwa arrives. The people have already gone to the hospital. So now it's already 2 hours after the event. Then Musia arrives 2 hours later himself as well. 2 hours later than Mthethwa. It's now 4 hours. What about the movement inside the house? All the police who've been there, people have checked out stuff. Sibia had told us he was there. And then some other officers who were there, right? Those guys can't find anything. They don't find anything. Up until 9:10 a.m. the following morning. That's when this lady now finds the magic projectile. Unbelievable, right? Now, condition of evidence. She explicitly stated that the bullet projectile she found had no blood stains. She also noted damage to the kitchen door, suggesting a bullet had struck it, though it did not exit the other side. Now, this is what she was now being quizzed on by Advocate Munisi to explain that bullet, that fragment, right, the door fragment. She was unable to explain it. She can't even make that deduction that it is because of the bullet. That's why that fragment is there. She can't make that conclusion or deduction or suggestion she said she's not there for guesswork, but she decided to document that fragment with a photo. Now let's look at the contradictions and analytical conflicts. Right, this is just what AI looked up and just compared to what was going on with the other officers. Right, the missed bullet. Musia versus Mhlahlo. Warrant Officer Musia testified that during his initial processing of the scene shortly after the murder, he saw no bullet projectile on the kitchen counter. He only observed it the following morning after Mhlahlo pointed it out. The defense argued this contradiction suggests the bullet was not originally there and planted overnight. Allegations of planting evidence. Defense advocate Sithulele Ngumalo proposed that the bullet was planted to mechanically link accused 3 Thobeka Mhlahlo to the crime scene via a firearm found in his possession in 2015. Mhlahlo vehemently denied this, stating, "I have no idea, but at the time that I was there, nothing was planted." Right. Hole versus damage. A semantic but technical contradiction arose regarding the kitchen door. While the ballistic expert, Captain Christian Mangena, described